Welcome everyone to another live stream here on our low-level and Linux distribution channel. Firefox 102 is out. It's so new, well, it's out in source form. So new that they are still preparing the release notes. So let's get some other summary. So improvements probably, allegedly, maybe removes parameters from URLs automatically when they may be used to identify track users. I mean, a little bit. I get their meaning a little bit, so yeah, thanks for that random peak bugs of stuff not working. So if stuff is randomly not working, that may mean automatically removing track user stuff. Like, yeah, let's hope that's going well. Anyway, starting 102 block list to strip known tracking parameters, top level. Also, yeah, apparently maybe automatically only for block list, but anyway. Other stuff, you can apparently hide the download panel. Yay. Displays something. Other changes, audio. So other more noteworthy stuff. I mean, recurring theme rate. So this is not the official list. It's also a little bit, I wish they would publish the list already, but recurring theme here. But even the official list previously always was a little bit short, right? So how much has changed? Yeah, we usually diff it 100,000, if not millions lines of code, but at the end of the day, audio decoding happens now in its own process, which improves security because audio decoding so complex could exploit bugs right in the audio codecs. If you want to, I only mention this because many people are like, how can this improve security? Because audio decoding is complex, and yeah, sandboxing and more sandboxing. Stricter sandboxing. So picture-in-picture mode supports subtitles and captions on HBO and stuff. Is probably, I really want a little bit. I wish to see the standard for that. I wonder why they need dedicated support for that. Who knows what custom YOLO quirks that out. But anyway, pressing enter while using screen reader no longer activates the wrong element. Amazing stuff. Developers look quite some developer changes. Media features now enabled by default. Windows sidebar, transform streams also are supported. Readable byte streams are supported. All the modern web stuff, right? Enterprise changes. Use system print dialog to use the system print dialog, send effect, and so on. Security as per usual. Updates are revealed after the official release, so usually there are some in there. And yeah, that I already built this last night, so we can commit this. That already built. So as usual, T2 users at the forefront of latest and greatest. Let's check SVN info. That should be famous last words, but it is the right tree. There you have it for you playing along at home. Then, as we already regarding tree text, so let's also do some other work. So that was that, right? There's not really that much more to say to Firefox. Although if you have comments and notes and stuff, then leave them in the comments below. Cheers. So let's get some more work done. The other thing is, I guess, by the way, we still have not released our Linux distribution because each time I test it, I find stuff. There is probably quite some stuff to cherry pick. I will probably not do this live on this channel. It's probably too boring. But we can, one thing we can't cherry pick because we don't have that update there. We can at least update the Linux kernel. So that is in the tag here of 22.5. I will probably also rename this tag again to 22.6 also. That is also the last days of that. But it probably makes sense to ship this with a little bit newer Linux kernel. We already delayed it so bit. Of course, in our release trunk we have something newer, but maybe you also test build that for just to see if the patches apply, not that we commit something to a stable tag that does not even freaking build. TM, speaking of which, I caused a regression, famous last words, right? The Smart Pants YouTuber with his pro tips, testing, more testing. The one thing we have not tested caused a regression. Actually, rather hard to see one. Let's also commit this, so that is good enough for me. Also stable tag, right? It starts to build and patches apply. It's fine. So what I mean with that, and also other people have found that actually. How's our cooling going? Because it's freaking hot in the office. Do we have here Berlin somewhere? Globally warm and stuff. Yesterday it was over 30 freaking degrees and everyone is... On today it's only 26 and not 32. Not that we overheat, our pressure's rising. So other stuff broken. So in another video or around that we moved, not sure did I do this on video, but it doesn't matter. So a tiny little thing, right? I just moved this make opt stuff here. I see some I think this here mark I don't need anymore. That I think that was when, yeah, I think this is fixed. This was just some, nothing like live on YouTube. You figure what you have already done. But what I broke is this parallel make opt. Also, this is just some cleanup that I'm probably going to make even tiniest stuff of code style, but why not? So I moved this no parallel stuff some week ago. And I didn't test it enough, right? Recurring theme, testing, the more testing, and what you didn't test is broke. And of course it's broke. So what broke this is that at that time, so early, this is a function init vars and stuff. So the desk hasn't been parsed yet. So you see there it is much further down. Actually, NoTech, thanks and greetings to NoTech for user and contributor and developer. Actually debugged that because I got a report on Discord, if you want to join that stuff doesn't build, and I was like, nah. I was actually kind of ignoring it because the last day is busy and life and stuff, and like, yeah, they're probably building it wrong, but NoTech debugged that, and so he found that doesn't work. Also, yeah, probably this is kind of stuff probably easily takes 30 minutes, right? I don't know how long he debugged that, maybe longer, I don't know, but I could imagine that even I could have debugged 30 minutes around, or if I lucky 15, but realistically, this kind of stuff is tricky, right? You can poke around and debug and track and trace until you're like only 30 freaking minutes later realize, oh, wait a second, at this time the desk file or metadata hasn't passed. And then it has flag stuff. Maybe actually, very theoretically, what would be another thought of making this stuff more perfect, we could actually change our has flag function to error out if has flag, just to prevent this in the future. If in the future we have, or even maybe today, we don't know, maybe we have even buggy situations like this where stuff is a no-op, code is no operation, no-op. We could actually change the has flag function also for you to learn and inspire for your own code bases to like have some sanity checks built in, some assertions, so that you notice stuff, you notice breakage, you notice when stuff obviously doesn't work. So this pass desk could set some variable, or actually we could use any other. For example, there are some description metadata that always need to be there, otherwise it errors out anyway, like desk I for title stuff, and or version or priority. So we could use any of those, maybe like priority because it's the most obvious. We could use title and stuff, but maybe I didn't speak so much last day, so too much code, too little hydration, and too much heat. Yeah, maybe we do that later. Maybe I should put this on the to-do. Anyway, so I moved this code just out of there, out of the init vars and stuff. Simply move it after parsing the disk. And I think this is not also, this should fix the bug, but did I test that? Alright, I think I tested that last night already. Maybe I shouldn't have tested that with a beer to remember. Why does it rebuild that? Alright, this is also tested this with x86-64, so. Yeah, Python that probably builds. All right, maybe whatever. All right, because it doesn't matter, because I started the build with my SSD and now it's running on the. So much to VM migration. I probably should container that better, although it's my personal work. But that's the thing, right? How much do you container and virtualize and stuff? It's kind of your personal workstation thing that right now you're not in the office. But anyway, because I started this build on another system root. Long story short, I think I further improved it here. By the way, did we have other build stuff here somewhere? Maybe not. So what although it's not the very best style to mix all the stuff, I usually prefer one change per, or not I, in general, that is a recommendation to have one topic per change thread, but it's still, or like fixing one bug, but we are not yet as big as a Linux kernel, and I also efficiently not like to have 100,000 revisions. There's also kind of sort of a little bit of a limit. Because what I was thinking to also, do we don't have do we not have Ninja Flex? That is interesting. Because what I was thinking is to move all the other like CMake stuff. Is it all? Why do we not have? Interesting. Because I wanted to move more code out of here that is using parallel mux, but why is there none? Should there not be others? Or is it interesting? Okay, so much to... I would have unified that. I expected here other kind of build systems, but maybe that is for another day then. Maybe we make a second commit and finally do Ninja Ops just to have that more future-proof and not open-coded here. So that packages could theoretically modify that. Do we have any? No, not Ninja. I meant like in conf file. Here's this is just installation. Here's some interesting GN. And this is the win-win why I sometimes, like if I think this should be better and more generic and I grab sources, then sometimes I find that here is this a new, is it new or old? Interesting. This probably, I think, does this work? So I think this could have a tiny little cleanup. I wonder, does it need to? Actually, I'm kinder. Does it just build? We probably should check that. Okay, let's commit this change before we get lost in random changes. So that was cleanup, where's partial revert, parallel, move here. So yeah, not even broken 1 month, only shy of 4 weeks or something. Where's my mouse cursor? Hello. Written though. Maybe I should simply use another. Could actually be probably. Nothing like spell checking your commit method is live on YouTube, and welcome everyone. Initialize too early. And then I think this was GN. Or I think GN, I'll check some error. That is so annoying. This is not ideally. Need also some better solution for that. That's probably their Git web stuff. What? Just giving us all the timestamp and stuff and causing a change of checksum. We need to tackle that someday. Let's see if that builds. Sometimes the stuff needs crazy dependencies and whatnot. So I also don't need this. I just want to polish that a tiny little bit. Also for the most part, not only for your education, but also for like future-proofing our T2 Linux distribution. Of course. And this is why I didn't just change it, because testing, and more testing. GN, what is wrong with that? What the freaking heck? What? GN doesn't name. What the heck is going on there? That looks extremely strange. What? It's even freaking going on there? Do we patch some random shit in there? Here is... Some of this patch is messed up for whatever reasons. I guess, exceptionally, hopefully it wasn't me. Not sure what's going on with that patch. Maybe some local editing hiccup or some local patch hiccup. Oops, probably I run this wrong. At least win-win. I didn't even expect that. But that's also the time. I mean, I try, by the way, another pro tip as a maintainer of our amazing Linux distribution, that more and more people come to love for one reason or another, being that PS3 or Nintendo Wii or SG Octane, in case you're wondering. This still fails. That as a maintainer, that I review other contributors, right? At times, it might sometimes take a day or so. Is this still... Did this patch that wrong again? So what I usually do, I scroll over the changes, and when other people that newly have write access to speed up our development and make it more efficient, right? I don't like Linus Torvalds need to be the only one who commits the stuff. When I have a day off with the family or travel and stuff, or be stuck in the office with customers and so on, then other people can continue, right? Which I find much more amazing than this centralized Linus Torvalds controls and all stuff. But I still, so this is still, how even does it? So maybe there is some bug in our copyright patching. Has this happened again for myself? This is strange. Never had that. So yeah, I go through the changes and when other people commit stuff. Right, why did I never before had this issue? Or is it even an issue? Actually, that is an interesting thing. Is that really actually, that is indeed less than ideal. How did I never realize that before? Or is that a... Is that a Rust parser thing? Does this... So much testing. I changed this a year or two ago to be potentially more readable, but only now do I realize, oops, I somehow didn't quite think that through. That we use a wildcard there now. Oh wait, that's also the wrong thing. Strange stuff. Not sure if this was Rust or something else, or... But yeah, that is a crazy thing. How could I miss this, or... That is crazy. Interesting. Wow, we have Houston, we have a problem. Didn't you totally not expect that? The biggest bugs and implementation marginalities only live on this channel. Wow, that the problem looks to be that our file path byte card there, potentially with some C passes, prematurely close a comment there already. That is of course not good. I wonder if we can YOLO that. GN. So now we have two issues. But yeah, this is why testing, and more testing, right? If I wonder if this could close that, and can we like start in, does it make any sense? Tony, this probably does not work to start. Like if that closes one, no, this doesn't work like that. I mean, we probably could YOLO it like that. Wait a second, no, not like that. Where did I? So this would close this comment and this is of course freaking ugly, but maybe a probably, oops, need to keep this in mind. But this is not what we were here for. I wanted to polish this build. But yeah, good that we took a look into that. That is a crazy one. I think I never had an issue with that, so that is a funny thing. Someone asked for microkernel. Yeah, we really continue. You see, T2 is in an extreme, I would call mostly polishing phase if we don't have regressions. Microkernel stuff indeed coming like nowish, just also limited. I wish more people share, like, and subscribe, right? GitHub, your OnlyFans and YouTube membership and stuff, because for the most part, when I'm not live streaming some days, then usually I'm overloaded. I mean, obviously my work desks are full with work and stuff, but yeah, as long as I can't live from the YouTube channel, I also need to do some professional IT work. But yeah. So, this is also the wrong thing. Somebody here, like, here were two things, I think. The one thing was T2 patch file names with something of that sort. And was there another thing? Maybe you remember. Anyway, so what I wanted to improve here was actually, before we found this implementation deficiency. So I think we can use the new, in the meantime introduced run make. What do we usually use? I think 0. Run make, yeah, very few packages use it yet. And that is obviously 2 code lines less. And in make, I would say, so what do we pre-make? mkdir, build dir out, cp. Version number needs git dir, which, okay. So what we need to do, so this is pre, what do we run here? One top level down, load tuffle does not contain top of the project dir. One top level, whatever. Interesting stuff done there. And so we probably, if we reuse all the other, maybe make make this pre-conf. And so pre-conf in make, and this probably pre-make. And then, or also, can't we do that together with other stuff? Like, can we not run that here, pre-conf? So the point was to clean up this Ninja stuff here. I'm not entirely sure, do we need this audio for some reason, or? Because we use object dir or something. And then let's see if that still builds. Tiny little cleanup. Okay, that does not build object dgn, no such file directory. Wait a second. Yeah, this is always a little bit the where is the run cmake, make file, cursor domain. So preconf should have run, then we have run conf, cmake style, setup Python, Meson, as construct, somewhere probably Ninja, wherever. Too many build systems. Ah, we only have that for Meson build. That is probably the issue. I mean, if Meson, maybe we need another. We probably theoretically need an independent Meson conditionally here. That explains a thing. Okay, that is not that ideal, so much to that. Anyway, at least our time wasn't totally wasted. Generic Ninja EG for GN. Our time wasn't completely wasted. We discovered this patch file issue there. Let's revert that now that we know how that does. Also the disk, we downloaded it now, we don't need this. So let's take a closer look, one last close look. Which tool is actually doing this parsing? I suspect it might be something like Rust or some custom thing. Or is it, no, it's actually G++. So I wonder, why does this, or is it more strict, or is it maybe because of C++ 17? Because I never had this issue before, that is so strange. Or is it some strict all extra diagnostics color? Let's, how do we best try that? Let's move for test to or actually CC. Famous last words. Let's compile it. This does indeed not work. Crazy. How did I never? Because it's... you know what? We usually don't have it like this. We usually have patch files. We rarely have a... that is an interesting challenge. That is how this usually is not an issue. How many header or C files do we have? One config age, some C files. Maybe they are not yet updated with that kind of, because we only update the, then we have ... They are all old, not updated. So we probably eventually run more often into this issue, which is of course not ideal. This is GN. Interesting stuff we find in the middle of the day, totally unexpected. We could maybe convert this into a patch though, or we custom, I mean, for now I probably just YOLO that like that. This theoretically, I mean, not that it would be important that this actually expands to something useful. Yeah, it actually does still expands properly, but yeah, the next time I run into this, not the best pro tip, usually don't delay this, but my plates are just way too full, and, or actually my desks are, not my plate, but my desks are way too full to tackle that now as well. That it would be another 30 to 60 minutes, depending on what solution testing this is thinking. Maybe the best thing would be to have a custom condition in our copyright stuff to I mean, maybe use this crazy construct with double slash, I'm not sure. Fixed, actually we can have the whole file name in there. How do we call the syntax or command? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, so let's see what data is done. I think I had run them. What data is done? Did I not run data? I think I run data. Anyway, that's, yes, the other thing is, yeah, I also need to start the build then. Maybe I should build this overnight, not to overheat the office too much. Yeah, global warming, or when do you run your Epic and start ripping stuff in the office when it's not 30 degrees out, right? Planning your T2 Linux builds based on weather. Welcome to the new. It's so sad. I also need coffee. So what I need to do is, also there is a Git update theoretically, not that would be the most important, but otherwise merge all those changes, like the very important fix, otherwise there might also be some Mesa update, or maybe not. No, but Git, not sure. Maybe why did maybe because no, it is odd stable. Why? Okay, 37. Why did data not do that? Need to check what data is doing. Sparse index feature and stuff like that. Anything else noteworthy? Let's try to build the version system, everything but I love. Yeah, and then we theoretically have stuff from Discord. This is you are some days disconnected from your Linux distribution, and then contributions and patches take over. There are some little potential improvements on Discord, so theoretically you should take a look at that. Was it IBM Pro PC or T2 patches? So that would be this stuff. And what do we have here? Yeah, 0 version number is not ideal. What is... But yeah, this links at times did not build for me. The question is how official it is. This is why, yeah, also recurring theme maintenance needs some review. Yes, libSPE, or why is this not? They disable it always. Interesting. Apparently the builds fails and otherwise. What is this? libstl. So I specifically added that and then it still fails. So the thing is, I should actually spend the recurring theme, right, maintaining Linux distribution, especially for 24 plus architectures, a little bit time consuming. I should actually do the extra due diligence and check. Theoretically, this should not be removed, right? It's like use flex. It's like if you have libsp, this should theoretically build. So whatever's wrong with that there, which is that xfce. So they say this native helper is not necessarily. I mean, it was for me. So yeah. All this stuff needs a little bit of review, right? It's not like you just, hey, Git freaking just builds to you. Amazing. Must be professional Linux distribution when stuff freaking just builds. So yeah, there you have that. Time to do some merging and then move on to the microkernel. I sometimes comment on other news article, and there is also this stuff of Fedora. Also, if you want a high-performance Linux distribution, probably T2 is one of the better choices for you. Shameless self-promotion thing here. And as you see, it was most of the state-of-the-art stuff most of the time. And Fedora is now considering defaulting to no omit frame pointer or so. They're discussing that for improved debugging and profiling, and this is exactly what I said. No, I have already the issue and losing another 1 to 3 up to at times 10 or more % performance depending on your optimization marginalities. And this is exactly why I think about this JIT, right? I have already issues losing performance with not using the latest and greatest AVX2 or AVX512 and having to recompile this, right? Previous video, I will not reiterate here everything if you're interested in that stuff. And also that all the stuff like GCC and Rust and LVM Clang becomes too huge. So also want to share, like, and subscribe for writing compiler architecture, like at least 90% smaller compiler architecture. I'm totally aware it is highly challenging, if not impossible, to achieve the same level of performance. But I think even with LVM Clang, you probably could do that if you would spend a little bit engineering efforts. With pre-compiling the bytecode and shipping the bytecode, and then similar to Android Arc or what their runtime is it Android runtime, whatever, having this stuff locally ahead of time or just in time optimized, so that because what Fedora is doing, they want to improve debugging and profiling performance and accuracy on regressing every user's performance, and also in this day and age, right, wasting resources, right? Everything becomes slower and consumes more electrons doing so, right? And it would be really also for the performance, right? Even I don't want to custom optimize that. You can use T2 like that, like Gen 2 people do, optimizing and building your system. But even I don't do this, right? Because even I usually have, I could change this to more cloud usage and stuff. But then the problem is with more cloud and so on, if I then move around, I either would need to locally, because if I like local optimize that for latest epic thread-ripping Ryzen, then I can't use the same build on all my other machines, even with cloud and stuff, which I usually have my portable Road Warrior SSD. So if I have my SSD or cloud, doesn't matter, and I plug it into my last year's machine, it wouldn't boot, right? And in my vision, it would be amazing if it transparently then ahead of time, like detecting that illegal instruction faults, or either before running it or dynamically on runtime, and then optimizes lesser without AVX2 and stuff. And for that you need some scalable vector extension similar to RISC-V vector extension or ARM SVM2, or what is scalable vector extension than ARM. For having the code recognize all the vectorization stuff, having one scalable vector extension stuff like virtual scalable vector extension, then JIT it for MMX, the little it can do, SSE 3D now, if you still want to support that AMD goodness, or latest and greatest AVX, AVX2, AVX 512, or other ARM and RISC stuff. It would be so amazing, because otherwise, as I said it before, right, this is mostly unused. So yeah, just a summary. So much things that I would love to do, is just like no time and money and stuff. But anyway, amazing that you tuned in. I hope you learned something. Latest and greatest stuff for you. Latest and greatest stuff, also Linux kernel, right? But of course, our stable tree has the latest and greatest. We can actually double check. But I just updated it the other night, so that unless they released something this morning, this was it .7, yeah. Of course, we have that for you. Yeah, 5.18.17, of course, in the development trunk. Anyway, some unexpected stuff as usual, a little bit of win-win, not exactly what I plan to do, but Firefox, last thing we can quickly check Rust and cargo, Rust C, and then we call it a day. And 61, what did we actually, we can just run it Rust C1, 61.0. Okay, we had that, probably same for cargo. Just something of crate.io, if there is a version. Nah, I just want a freaking link to the version. 62 for all the Rust and cargo fishy nodos. Oh, we had this already. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. T2 being continued to be developed. And don't forget to like, subscribe, Patreon, GoFundMe, sponsorship and membership and stuff. And see you next time for all the more fun stuff to come. If I see my mouse cursor.